By my troth, Nerissa, my little body's aweary of this great world.
You would be, sweet madame, if your miseries were in the same abundance as your good fortunes are, and yet, for aught I see, they are as sick that serve fate with too much as they that starve with nothing. It is no mean happiness, therefore, to be seated in the noon. It is no mean happiness, therefore, to be seated in the mean. Superfluity comes sooner by white hairs, but competency lives longer.
Good sentences, and well pronounced.
They would be better said if well followed.
If to do were as easy as to know what were good to do, chapels had been churches, and poor men's cottages, princess palaces. It is a good divine that follows his own instructions. I can easier teach 20 what were good to be done than be one of the 20 to follow my own teachings. The brain may devise laws for the blood, but a hot temper leaps over a cold decree. Such here is madness. To skip over the is not in the fashion to choose me a husband. Oh me, the word choose. I may neither choose who I would nor refuse who I dislike. So it is the will of a living daughter curbed by the will of a dead father. It is not hard, Nerissa, that I cannot choose one nor refuse none.
Your father was very virtuous, and holy men at their death have good inspiration. Therefore the lottery that he hath devised in these 3 chests of gold, silver, and lead, whereof who chooses his meaning chooses you, will no doubt never be chosen by any rightly one, but who you shall rightly love. But what warmth is there in your affection towards any of these princely suitors that are already come?
I pray thee, overname them, and as thou namest them, I will describe them, and according to my description, level on my affection.
First, there's the Neapolitan prince.
Aye, that's a cult indeed, for he doth nothing but talk of his horse, and he makes it a great appropriation to his own good parts, that he can shoe him himself. I am much afraid, my lady, his mother played false with the smith.
Then there's the County Palatine.
Doth nothing but frowned, as who should say, and you will not have me choose. He hears merry tales and smiles not. I fear he will prove the weeping philosopher when he grows older, being so full unmannerly sadness in his youth. I had rather be married to a death's head with a bone in my mouth than to either of these. God defend me from these 2.
How say you by the French lord, Monsieur Le Bon?
God made him, and therefore let him pass for man. In truth, I know it is a sin to be a mocker, but he? Why, he hath a horse better than the Neapolitan, better bad habit of the frowning than the Count Palatine. He is every man in no man. If a throstle sing, he falls straight a campering. He will fence with his shadow. If I should marry him, I should marry 20 husbands. If he should despise me, I would forgive him. For if he loves me to madness, I shall never reacquaint him.
What say you then to Falcon Birch, the young Baron of England?
You know I say nothing to him, for he understands not me, nor I him. He hath neither Latin, French, Italian, and you will come into the court and swear that I have a proper pennyworth in English. He is a proper man's pitcher, but alas, who can converse with a dumb show? How oddly is he suited. I think he bought his doublet in Italy, his round horse in France, his bonnet in Germany, and his behavior everywhere.
What say you to the Scottish lord, his neighbor?
That he hath a neighborly charity in him, for he borrowed a box of the ear of the Englishman, and swore he would pay him back again, when he was able. I think the Frenchman became his surety and sealed under for another.
How like you the young German, the Duke of Saxony's nephew?
Very vilely in the morning, when he is sober, and most vilely in the afternoon, when he is drunk, when he is his best, he is a little bitter than a beast. And the worst fall that ever fell, I hope I shall make shift to go without him.
If he should offer to choose, and choose the right casket, you should refuse to perform your father's will, if you should refuse to accept him.
Therefore, for fears of the worst, I pray thee, set a deep glass of Rhenish wine on the contrary casket. For if the devil be within, and that temptation without, I know he will choose it. I will do anything, Nerissa, ere I will be married to a sponge.
You need not fear, lady, the having of any of these lords. They have acquainted me with their determinations, which is indeed to return to their home, and to trouble you no more, with no more suit, unless you may be won by some other sort than your father's imposition, depending on the caskets.
If I live to be as old as Syllaba, I will die as chaste as Diana, unless I be obtained by the manner of my father's will. I am glad this parcel of wooers are so reasonable, for there is not one among them, but I dote on his very absence, that I pray God grant them a fair departure.
Go. Do you not remember in your father's time a Venetian, a scholar and a soldier, that came hither in company of the Marquis of Montferrat?
Yes, it was Bassanio, as I think he was so called.
True, madam, he of all the men that ever my foolish eyes looked upon was the best deserving of a fair lady.
I remember him well, and I remember him worthy of thy praise. How now, what news?
The four strangers seek for you, madame, to take the lead. There is also a forerunner who comes from a fifth, the Prince of Morocco, who brings a word of the prince. His master will be here tonight.
If I could bid the fifth welcome and the other four farewell, I should be glad of his approach. If he have a condition of a saint and the complexion of a devil, I rather he should strive me than wive me. Come, Nerissa, Sahara, go before us. We shut the gates upon one wooer, another knocks at the door.